Hey guys, so today I want to talk about determining the efficiency of your programming. So for obviously the ones that are clients of mine watching this video, this is a process that we go through when we do the monthly consultations. And if you're in person, I work out here. Obviously it's something that I talk to you often when I see you at the gym. The goal, but for those of you that are not, I hope that what you take out of this video is that you should be analyzing how efficient your workout with, right? You're paying for a service regardless of if it's a CrossFit gym, if you go to a Gold's Gym, if you do personal training. And the goal is to determine how is this training regimen taking me to what my goals are. But before we get to that, we have to define what efficiency is. So the way I like to define efficiency, when it comes to training, not just what the definition, the dictionary definition of efficiency is, but when it comes to training, is consistency plus results divided by time, over time. What do I mean by consistency? So consistency means a few things. Has a few parts to it. The first one is your eagerness to train. That means how willing you are to do the workout that you're going to do. So obviously, if you have, we all have movements that we don't like doing, right? For example, I don't like to do anything on the pull-up bar, but I do know that doing pull-ups and chest to bars, and back when I was doing a lot of CrossFit, muscle-ups, was something that I had to do to be good at the sport I was practicing for. I would, even though I dislike doing them, I would be eager to do them because I know that being better at them makes me better at what my goal is. So your eagerness to train means that you're coming to the gym and you're like, okay, time to work out. Not you coming to the gym and it's like, man, I wish I was doing something different today. Or it's like, man, I don't really want to do this. Sometimes we're sore. Sometimes you do movements that you don't like. But if you have eagerness to train, if you know that what you're going to do is going to get you to where you want to be, that's going to keep you consistent. The second is the belief in the progressions that you're going to do. So maybe the exercise is not clear cut like that, like, I'll do pull-ups because it makes me better at pull-ups. Maybe it's something more like, I'm gonna do some split stance RDL because I know I have to work on some unilateral core stability exercises, not because that's the exercise that I'm gonna do, not because that's directly in the sport I'm practicing for, but because that would allow me to then do other movements better. That's the belief in the progression. That is knowing what your workout is and understanding how that movement is going to get you to eventually where you want to be. And then the last part of consistency, obviously, is to keep you injury free. So that should be one of the biggest goals of every coach, right? You cannot be consistent if every 2 weeks you have knee pain, back pain, your shoulder's messed up. You have to skip movements because that movement hurts you or because you just can't do them. So obviously, right, having no injuries is going to allow you to be consistent in your training. And then big overview of what consistency is physical and mental willingness to continue training. The second part of the equation is results. So if I just have consistency, if I come into the gym every single day for 6 months, but I see no results, right? That should tell you that the workout routine that you're going is not very efficient. Results are improvements that are measurable or abstract. So I like to say that because a lot of times the improvements that we get are not things that we can measure in the gym. So they might be measurable, but it's not really something that we'll see here. That means body weight, body composition, That might mean how many hours you're sleeping or what's the quality of your sleep. That might mean your blood sugar. That might mean your resting heart rate. All these could be measurable. It's not something they will measure here. And then obviously there's some that are abstract, which is how much energy you have through your day. What is your mood like? What is your mindset? What is your mental state throughout the day? Those are less measurable. So that's why I like to put measurable or abstract. Most of them are going to be measurable, especially if you have an InBody, which is what we have here in the gym, that we can measure some of those things. If you have an Apple Watch, we can keep measure of some of the other things. Plus, the increased distance to your goals. So obviously the improvements that I mentioned are health and fitness improvements. But if my goal is to be a karate champion, I don't really care what my resting heart rate is, right? Those are improvements, fitness, health improvements, but they're not really related to what my goal is. So the results have to also be towards what your goal is. This is one thing that CrossFit has a great outlet, is sometimes people will be like, well, I really haven't lost a pound. And in a CrossFit gym, what you hear is something saying, but at least now you got a pull-up, where 2 months ago you didn't have one. So sure, it's a great result, right? It's an improvement that is measurable, but what you want is for that improvement to be directly related to what your goal is. So if your goal is to lose weight, you want to see the result in that area. Not that getting a pull-up is not a good result and you shouldn't celebrate that, but if your goal is to lose weight and you have to choose between getting a pull-up and losing 5 pounds in a month, if your true goal is to lose weight, you should choose that one, and that would be the result that would matter the most, which will impact this equation more. And then we have over time. Not only how long it takes you to achieve a goal, right? So if your goal is to gain 20 pounds of muscle, achieving that goal in 2 months, well, that would be a little unrealistic. But achieving that goal in 6 months is much better than achieving that goal in a year. But not only how long it takes to achieve that goal, but how much you worked for that goal. So if I achieve 20 pounds of muscle increase in 6 months, working out 3 times a week, that is better than working out 6 times a week for 6 months and achieving the same goal. This is one of the things that people tend to not follow when it comes to the time efficiency. Is they want to do more to get the results faster, whereas the goal is to get the same results with less work. We all have lives, we all have things to do outside the gym, we all have goals, hobbies, obviously the part of our lives that we have to do, pay rent, work, all those things. So getting you in and out of the gym, working out 3 days a week, and getting you to your goal, for me, is much better than having you in the gym 6 days a week for an hour just to get to the same goal. Take away all that useless exercises, do the things that really matter, and move on. This is the equation that I try to go through every time I think of efficiency. Are you being consistent? Are you seeing results? And how much are we working for that? Consistent is a habit reinforced by commitment, right? So the commitment is that idea of really believing in the progressions, being happy to do the exercises you're doing, being able to do the exercises that you're supposed to do with no injuries. That allows you to create a habit of being consistent. Results are any adaptation from training, anything that you would not have had if it wasn't for training. That can be positive or negative. Having an injury is a result specifically from training if that's where you got an injury. So results are any adaptation, any difference that you've had that happened from training. If your training regimen includes nutrition and lifestyle habits, that means any results are any adaptation from your training plus your nutritional and lifestyle habits. And then time is how much bang for your buck you got. How little work you had to do for the same amount of results that somebody else had that had to work more for it. I hope this makes sense. Even if you are a client of mine, I hope that you look at your programming and you go through this mental exercise and bring it back to me so we can talk if there's anything that we can change to make you more consistent, to see more results, or to do it in a shorter time. And if you're not, look at your training and see if there's anything else you can do to get you to your goals faster.